hours, just after 5:01 right now. The computer's showing. A few minutes after that into the game. The current weather, we'll call it mostly cloudy conditions, 43 degrees of temperature with a little breezy out of the west, anywhere from 18 to 20 miles an hour.
It turns out the home of Harvard and MIT is also where the Salem Witch Trials and First American Railroad was. How could you not see the state where all these things existed? I couldn't, so I went there.
I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. First issue. Turns out you also need to take into account the letters. So if I go to Boylston, I need to get on D. It's not just the color alone.
After I figured out how public transit worked, I checked into my hostel and wandered around some more. I've never been to a hostel before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it looked pretty cool, and they had a whole bunch of events going on. I obviously didn't mind sleeping in a dorm, but this was the one spot I did not want. But hey, life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
There's been free breakfast at this hostel. I've met this lady that's been escaping from wildfires from California by coming here to Boston. Seems like a long way to go. We're gonna do this walking tour of Harvard. So that should be interesting. Never been to Harvard before.
Just as I said that, the Harvard tour would have to wait for another day because of a scheduling issue. So I hopped on the subway and went back from Cambridge to Boston.
This is super cool because these buildings are so well kept. This place is so clean.
After all this walking around, it was time to start bar hopping with random people from around the world. I kicked it off by watching someone from Germany do card tricks at the first one.
So imagine we are in the wild west, and this is a train. No way? Okay, then split it again. Oh!
I want to split it. I want to split it. I want to do that.
Split it, not shuffle it.
Let's do his card trick.
At the end of the tunnel, let's see if the sheriff gets out. The bad guys. Here are 2 guys. What? Here are 3 guys.
What?
What? In the end, there are. Oh no! In the end, there are.
And that's where things picked up.
Cheers! Woo! Cheers for beers.
That right there is our guide, here to make sure that we had a fantastic Thursday night. Even though the bar hopping turned into clubbing, which was super fun, I still had to be up the next day to see Beacon Hill.
So this morning I had a walking tour around a bunch of neighborhoods in Boston. One of them was Beacon Hill, very European-like. It's around noon now, so what I'm gonna do is go take the train to Salem, Massachusetts, which is where they had witch trials. So it could be a really interesting place to go to. It could not. We'll see what we find there. I'm walking through the Boston Commons, which is where you gotta go to get to the train to go to Salem. And it is super nice here. Our guide said that this was essentially Central Park in Boston, and I can see why. It's definitely not as big as Central Park, but that's an unfair comparison. Okay, well, I guess I messed up because the train actually comes at 1 o'clock and it's noon. So I guess that means I have an hour to kill, which means I could probably have lunch now, which is a good thing.
I got Dunkin' in true East Coast fashion and then strapped myself in for the train ride.
I'm gonna go walk over to the Salem, what is this place? Salem Witch Village. I tried to go to one thing witch related and then like 5 other witch related things just showed up on Google Maps. There's a lot of witchcraft here in the city. Well, this is a bit of a sad experience to say the least. All these people died because they were witches. But hey man, history is crazy.
I guess there's more to Salem than just that, including this crazy little shop that I found.
I think I might have seen it all. Now I can say that I've been to Salem. The way to make any situation more interesting is to add beer.
I went back to Boston and someone in the common area of the hostel asked if I wanted to go to a comedy show in a sketchy part of town, so I said hell yeah.
Well, that's Samuel Adams. I guess he did such a good job they named a beer after him. That's the beer. Last night was great. The comedy show was spectacular. They said it was BYOB and BYOW, and that means weed. There was a guy hitting a bomb. Seems like I'm in Europe. North Square and North Street. These brick buildings just go on for days. I'm gonna go get lunch. Wow, this is super cool. There's like so much stuff going on here. It's kind of nuts.
Can you put on the ornament, sir? Sexy man. Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. Excuse me, can you hold this? 1, 2, 3!
Alright, well that was wild.
So with free time on my hands, I went back to Harvard to see the place I missed last time. Finally made it to Harvard, not literally. Blends right in with Beacon Hill. This person's birthday, so maybe I'll stop and wave. There we go. Hopefully that made her day. It's becoming obvious to me why US colleges cost so much. This is just a football field for one university. When you're walking around a place like this, it seems like it's a city. Really grungy parts in New York, but I haven't found any grungy parts in Boston just yet. Well, I'm drinking coffee at 5:00 p.m. coming from Seattle to Boston. Apparently it's still messing with me. My body hasn't adjusted, but my schedule has. You can see the river here is pretty cool. This is the Charles River. I've never been to a university that has tourists in it. Mine certainly didn't, but this one does.
I got back to the hostel and filled my stomach with food to prepare for another night of bar hopping, because I guess one wasn't enough. After going bar hopping until 1 o'clock in the morning, I got this sandwich. Now I can enjoy my breakfast here in the Boston Commons. It's pretty good.
So I'm on the way to see the USS Constitution, which is a ship, a wartime ship, that belongs to the US Navy. And I think I actually found it right over there. That doesn't look like it's as old as it is. It's time to go inside. It's kept in really good shape. I guess people were shorter back then. Finish this trip off, I'm gonna go see the sunset over in the Boston Harbor with a few friends from the hostel. It turns out you can actually take a ferry to where we're gonna meet. It's right beside the USS Constitution, where I was. So I'm gonna take that ferry over there and watch the nice sunset. Boat landed, and for some reason they never checked the ticket, even though I bought one already. This has got to be the emptiest subway station that I've ever seen in Boston.